You can now only take the Florida driver's license test in English. The Florida Department of Motor Vehicles issued a statement that is requiring the Florida driver's license exam to be conducted in the English-only language. You might say, I thought that was always the case. No, that was not always the case. You could take your Florida driver's license exam in another language and with an interpreter, but now not anymore. And here is the press release. Today, the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles announced that beginning Friday, February 6, all driver license knowledge and skill examinations will be administered exclusively in English. Since English became the official language of the United States pursuant to the executive order that President Trump signed last year, it's no surprise that we are seeing these type of changes happening.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. This is Prime Pulse where we talk about a lot of things happening around the world. If you're new here, just sit back and enjoy. But do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment because we like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. So today we are talking about Latinos for Trump. Latinos who voted for Trump. So Latinos who voted for Trump are regretting their vote because right now they are beginning to get scared and angry about the new laws and the new rules that are coming around them. So they just decided that all license to be a license test are to be English based only. So now Latinos for Trump are beginning to complain and say that this isn't what they voted for and they regret their vote. So while we wait and comment, we should also like get down and watch what other people have to say about this, and we let the videos roll by. So while we watch, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment because we would like to know what you think about this topic. Okay, so let's watch. Please do not forget that all rights remain to the original creators of these videos. Do not forget to like and comment and subscribe. I'll be waiting for you in the comment section. Let's watch. Thank you.
Yet again, we have another prime example of MAGA Latinos voting against their own interests here in the state of Florida and then finding out what the consequences are. Effective February 6th, all driver's license exams, written, oral, when you're doing the actual driving, the physical, are all going to be in English. They used to be available in Spanish, Haitian Creole, in some places Chinese, Arabic, etc. Now, completely English, and no interpretation services will be available. A 3-minute drive from where I live is one of the most infamous DMVs here in Dade County. It comes out on the TV all the time for fraud. Historically here, people have had other people take the written exam for them in their place fraudulently, even the driving exam for them, and then they just call them, hey, come inside, take the picture. I just took the exam for you. My person at the DMV has it all planned out, blah, blah. All in Spanish, right? Because many people that go to the DMV here in Miami don't know English. And that was the case for many years, but they've cracked down on a lot of that fraud here in Dade County with the appointments, people were selling them. It was chaos. So now this is going to affect everyone who has some kind of legal status, and even people who become U.S. citizens that are trying to get their driver's license, trying to get their ID, trying to get all these things. Everything is now going to be in English. And again, they clearly stated there's no interpretation services. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. And if you guys know anything about my hometown, the 305, people here, the majority of the county of the city speaks in Spanish, right? There's many places in Dade County you can live in your entire life without ever having to utter a word in English. But I guarantee you, if you would do a poll in each DMV in Dade County, right, of the people that are going there to get their license for the first time, written, to renew it, to do anything there. If you did a poll of the people that are eligible to vote, or even people that aren't, just people that support, asking who would you support if you could vote? 99.9% of those people would say Trump. I guarantee you. And DeSantis. They are MAGA to the very end. Even people that don't have status here in Miami, that don't have any immigration status, or are in the process of getting it, absolutely adore MAGA, adore Trump, and adore Ron DeSantis. And these are the consequences when people vote for Republicans in the state Senate, in the state representatives here in Florida, in the state legislature, right? I can guarantee you guys this is going to cause chaos in DMVs across South Florida, in particular in Miami-Dade County. But once again, you get what you vote for, or what your family members that are US citizens vote for.
Florida is changing their driver's license test to be in English only. English isn't the official language of the United States. Like, there is no official language of this country. And a lot of people actually speak different languages, especially in Florida when you think about how close it is to the Caribbean and literally how people who speak Spanish move to Florida. But now they're going to make it so that their driver's license test is only in English, which clearly is just racist. That doesn't even actually make any type of sense because genuinely, people speak other languages other than English. So I feel like that's kind of a way for Florida to basically be like, if you don't speak English, you're not allowed to drive here. Which again is racist. And I understand that Florida is a red state and like that's just how they've always been doing things. Like that's how they operate. But even more so than that, it's just like that's kind of idiotic. Because quite literally, a lot of people who speak Spanish live in Florida. So making the driver's test only available in English, quite literally, is just a form of racism. It's just simply racism being done without them even caring. Like, they're not trying to hide it at all. They're not trying to mask it. They're literally just being racist in plain sight. And it is diabolical. I'm not really expecting too much from Florida, of all places. Like, this kind of makes sense that Florida, out of all the states, would make it so that their driver's license test is only available in English. That makes sense because of how they vote in Florida. But at the same time, that actually doesn't make any sense because English is not the official language of this country. And also, people within Florida speak other languages, obviously, other than English. So this just seems like a way to make it so that anyone who is not an English speaker doesn't have the ability to get their driver's license. It seems like that's what they're trying to do. It gives off the same energy as that teacher that got mad at her Hispanic students speaking Spanish in class. It gives the same energy as that. It feels exactly like that, only honestly worse, because it's a whole state that's basically making it so people can't get their license if they don't speak English. That's weird.
Florida says English only. Florida DMV says English only. They're only offering their exams exclusively in English. Regardless of what type of driver license you're trying to obtain, that exam will be offered to you in English without any accommodations. No interpreters will be provided. Even the on the road test, English. Now, this is going to impact Florida's population because over 30% of their naturalized citizens struggle in English proficiency. Aside from English being the number one spoken language in Florida, Spanish is number 2, Haitian Creole is number 3, Portuguese is 4th, and then French is 5th. Now, the driving instructors, the people that have these driving schools, they're still processing all this information because majority of their clientele have difficulties in English proficiency, let alone even if they speak English, because over 30% of the people over the age of 5 in Florida also speak another language at home besides English. So they don't even know how this is going to impact their businesses moving forward. But moving forward, February 6th, this will be implemented. All the DMV exams will exclusively be offered to you in English.
So Florida lawmakers are now advancing legislation that could crack down on the commercial truck drivers who lack immigration status. Now, this is a move the supporters say is all about public safety. However, the critics warn that it could create a deep divide and disrupt the trucking industry. Now, the proposal that is being put forward would require law enforcement officers to detain truck drivers that were found operating commercial trucks or vehicles without proper legal status, and then coordinating with federal immigration authorities. Now, under this bill, the truck involved could be impounded, and the companies that employ the undocumented drivers could also face steep penalties, including losing the ability to operate in the state of Florida. Now, backers of this measure argue that it helps to close dangerous gaps in the oversight of commercial driver's licenses, pointing to the recent fatal crashes involving commercial vehicles and raising concerns about the CDL licensing standards, the identity verification, and also the accountability of truck drivers out on the road. Now, the opponents of this bill counter that the bill risks unfairly targeting immigrant workers, many of whom play a major role in the trucking industry and helping to keep the supply chain moving. They also warn that this policy could only worsen existing driver shortages, raise shipping costs, and create fear among workers who already feel that they are vulnerable in the trucking industry. Now, this legislation still has a long way to go before it actually becomes a law. It is expected to face additional debate as it moves through the Florida legislative system. Now, this bill has strong opinions on both sides and, of course, real-world consequences for both drivers, companies, and consumers alike. So my question to you is, so this bill that is going to be requiring stricter penalties for truck drivers who are illegal, do you think that this bill is actually going to help improve road safety in the state of Florida? Or do you think that it's going to only create more problems in the trucking industry and the supply chain industry? Let me know down in the comment section. All right, everybody, please be safe out on those roads. And if I hear any more on this, I'll be sure to bring it to you. If you don't already, please be sure to like, share, and follow.
Florida Latinos, you F around, you find out. Guess what they're doing starting February the 6th in Florida? You can no longer take the driver's license test in Florida in Spanish. What? Yes, starting February 6th, all you Latino voters that voted for DeSantis, guess what? You're not going to be able to take the driver's license test for commercial or regular driver's license in Spanish anymore. Also, you cannot have an interpreter for any language. No more assistance. You have to take it by yourself. It is English only, and that is it. So keep on voting for people that make things more difficult for you. But again, you F around, you find out. You know, there's a reason that Miami finally put a Democrat in, Eileen Higgins, with 60% of the vote to 40% of the vote over the Republican candidate. Y'all better wake up and smell the coffee, smell those roses. Yep. So you F around, you find out. After February the 6th, you cannot take the driver's license test in Florida in Spanish, and you cannot have an interpreter for any language. Nobody can assist you. It is English only, period. Welcome to Florida. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and the burned out light bulbs. You get what you vote for.
Hello guys, so Latinos for Trump are regretting their votes, and because of this new policy, they feel so bad for their votes, and they wish they could take things back. But right now, obviously, it is not possible to take back something that you did purposely. Although, yeah, it's okay for people to make mistakes, but people are beginning to ask, should we really call this a mistake? Because actually, you all knew what this person was saying. You all heard it during the election when he said that he was going to do things and do that. But because you people didn't educate yourselves enough, you are now saying that you regret your vote. That's what a lot of people are saying. But let's get down to the comment section and read what other people have to say about this. So one person said, I'm Latino and I voted for Trump thinking it was about jobs and the economy. Now I'm watching truck drivers in my own family panic because the licensing rules changed and everything is English only with zero translation. These are people who've been driving safely for years. This didn't make roads safer, it just made survival harder. The next person said, they told us voting for Trump meant law and order and protecting workers. But what it really meant was policies that ignore how the country actually works. Immigrants and illegal workers keep entire industries moving. You don't strengthen America by pushing skilled people out with paperwork barriers. Next person said, the meltdown is real because reality finally hit. Voting off vibes and culture wars doesn't help when policies start affecting your paycheck. Truck drivers don't care about slogans, they care about feeding their families. And now people are realizing they voted against themselves. Next person said, I voted Trump because I believe the lie that he was for the working class. Now I see my uncle, a legal immigrant, struggling to pass English only test after decades of experience. This isn't about safety, it's about exclusion, and we were warned. Of course, you were warned. But you didn't listen. Next person said, Latinos for Trump loved saying, we are not like those immigrants. Well, congratulations, the policies don't care. Once you vote for someone who governs by punishment, eventually you get punished too. This is what pulling the ladder up looks like. So the next person said, what hurts the most is watching people act shocked. Trump never hid who his policies were for. If you thought you'd be the exception because you're legal, conservative, and hardworking, that was the fantasy. The system doesn't reward loyalty, it enforces rules. Next person said, my dad voted Trump proudly. Now he's asking for help studying English because his CDL depends on it. He works 12-hour days already. When is he supposed to learn a whole new language just to keep doing the job he's done safely for years? That's cool. The next person said, this isn't about hating English. Most people want to learn. It's about timing, fairness, and reality. You don't flip a switch overnight and pretend it's not going to devastate families. That's not leadership. That's cruelty dressed up on policy. The next person said, the saddest part is how quiet the Latinos for Trump influencers are now. They push this vote hard. Now, real people are paying the price, while those influencers are still fine, still paid, still protected. Are they though? Are they? Because one way or the other, their families are definitely going through these things. So, are they really protected? Are they? Are they? People are finally learning that voting against others doesn't protect you. Policies don't stop at the border of identity, they roll downhill, and working people always get crushed first. So, I would really like to know what you guys think in the comment section, because right now, Latinos are getting it hot, especially those who voted for Trump. They are getting that. And it's not even just those who voted for Trump now, because everybody is experiencing this thing. Everybody, even the Latinos who voted for Trump and the Latinos who didn't vote for Trump, they are all experiencing this. And it's really not fair, because there are people who didn't vote for him. But everybody is getting it hard. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Okay. All right. Remain to the original creators of these videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.